And welcome back to the Lab Robots. On tonight's episode of Building an Ubuntu Server to run local AI, we are going to do a quick update to the RoboTF AI Suite. So I've gone through and kind of updated everything to a newer version of Compose. I've also added in a set of tools, which is the RoboTF LLM Tools Suite. And this is a set of tools that a lot of you have actually asked me to release to you guys. What I've done is I went and built these tools and kind of took them out of my suite of tools that you guys see me run with the tests, the way that you guys see me edit model configurations, etc., etc. And I've made a new project out of them. Real quick, the code is not really clean or pretty, but it's functional, guys. It's functional. That's all we're looking for, is functional. What this allows us to do is it's going to give you a Docker command runner, which allows you to run Docker commands remotely on this machine. It's going to give you a Docker dashboard that's going to give you all the different statuses of your Docker containers. It's going to give you a Hugging Face downloader. It's going to give you my LLM token estimator that's based off of AutoTick tokenizer. And then there will be the big thing that we are going to talk about today, which is Model Configuration Editor. This is going to allow you to quickly and easily edit the models that LocalAI is using and restart LocalAI so that you can test all of your settings right through your web browser, and you don't have to know any code to be able to do that. You guys have seen me do that on the channel for the last year and a half or so as we've gone through things. Now you guys can have the ability to do it yourself. So let's just jump right into this. Give you guys a quick look. We're going to talk about model configuration, some of the different parameters. I've done videos on a lot of the parameters. You guys can get into it. So we are simply going to go on our machine, picking up from the previous videos. We are going to do a git pull origin main, just to pull down all of my different changes, any updates that I've done. If you have changes, you can do a git stash and stash your changes, and then do a pull and do a git stash pop afterwards to reapply your changes. And then we're just going to go ahead and do our normal make all up. Make sure before you do that that you go into the new RoboTF LLM Tools Compose file and change your model's volume mount to whatever the same one that's in your local AI models, so that these two can actually share the same models folder, and that this can actually have the ability to run commands and stuff in Docker. We're going to need this one, which will mount your Docker sock into this container so that this container can be allowed to run Docker commands for you. Not shell commands, but Docker commands, just to be very clear. So let's go ahead and do a make all up. We're going to make sure everything all starts up. And there it goes. And then the first thing you can see is that this new tool, my LLM Tools, is on port 8969. So let's flop over to our browser, and I'm just going to go right over to it. I know my IP address is 10.1.1.245 and 8969. And then you'll be presented with this nice pretty page, and it's going to tell you again what it will do for you: a Docker command runner, a Docker dashboard. Let's just get right into this and show you guys. Also, you have links to all of your internal ones. It will detect your IP and give it to you. So if you want to go to Open Web UI, you just click right there. If you want to go to LocalAI, just click right there. Give you all the easy links. So let's quickly go over what we've got in here. So a Docker command runner. Now remember, I just talked about mounting the Docker sock to this container so that you can run Docker commands. This gives you basically a Docker shell interface. So if I wanted to run Docker PS, I would just type PS and hit run command, and you can see that it listed out all the Docker containers. Now, I've also given you guys an easy way to just restart the LocalAI container straight from here to fetch the LocalAI logs. or to see your NVIDIA SMI from the LocalAI container so that you can prove that LocalAI has seen your video cards. Let's just go ahead and click that. And then it reports back the two 4060s and the 4070 that is in this node right now. All right, now skipping over that, let's go ahead and just take a look at the Docker dashboard. What did I mean by that? So if you're running remotely and the server's sitting away from you and you don't want to have a terminal open to it all the time, this just gives you a quick, easy way to see your different Docker containers that are running on that machine. It reports back. You can click on it and see all the different details about it, the ports that it's up, how much or how long it's been up, and how much CPU it's using, memory, etc., etc. And again, I give you a way to just stop the container, restart the container, or view the logs from any of these containers right from here. So if we just click view logs, we'll see it pop up over here and see the local view logs there. Now, you can set this dashboard to refresh. 0 is off, 1 is on. If you click the little question mark, it tells you that. And during the seconds if you want it from there. If you have a stop container, it's going to show up here over at stop. So let's go ahead and just say, oh, we'll go stop ChromaDB, and you can see it's auto refreshing there. So we'll hit stop. See, it's running up here. Now it says container stopped. And once the page refreshes, or you can hit R to refresh, it will show up in the stop containers. And then you could just start it again. Okay, now the Hugging Face downloader. Let's go right into talking about models, because the next few tools are all about models. When we're in LocalAI, LocalAI gives you this wonderful interface, has all of your models that are already installed in here. You can go to their models page, and you can add different libraries like Hugging Face and stuff in here, and you can download models directly from here, right? So if I wanted to install Gemma 3 1B IT right here, we'll just hit install. This is a really small model. This is going to download a model that the LocalAI team has chosen. Most of these are Q4 based models. If you want to go and download all of your own models, right? So if we went over to here, this is Hugging Face, right, where we would normally download all of our models. And we just kind of sort it by, Gemma, and then go taking a look and say, okay, well, here's one. That's a 4B model. If we wanted to download it from here, we definitely could go and download different versions of this model straight from here and upload it to our server. But that seems like kind of a pain in the butt. Now, since with LocalAI, you can't actually technically choose which quant that you're downloading. If you want more power over that, we can go to the Hugging Face downloader, and if you already know which one you want to copy, you can just hit copy model name right next to this, and you can go down to the repository selection and download and just hit enter. And you can either list all the files in the repository. Look, there's all the different files, all the exact ones that we're seeing right here. And then you could choose just the model that you want, or you could download the entire repository of all the different versions of models. From here, what we're going to do is we're just going to select specific file, and then I'm going to download, let's just say the Q6 version, and we'll hit download selected file. Now that is downloading in the background on the machine using the Hugging Face CLI downloader, so it tends to be a little bit quicker than just trying to download through a browser. We'll go ahead and let that download, and it's going to present to us a path down here that we are going to want to copy, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. So let's wait and let it finish downloading. Okay, so now you can see it says file downloaded, and then this big long path. This is your model's path, so it should show up on your local machine. We want to copy this entire big string. And don't worry, this is how Hugging Face downloads it. It does it through using basically Git, but a little bit different, and caches everything down. So you can see that it caches it into snapshots. So we're just going to copy all of that, and we're going to save it for just a minute. I want to talk about the fact that you can also, we already knew what model we were going after over here. If we wanted to just do some playing around and search, you can also search Hugging Face right here. So in this case, if I wanted to say Gemma, and let's limit it down. You know, I like Bartowski. You guys probably know Bartowski out there. And then we're going to do a gguf library, and we're just going to hit search. Now the same thing, if we wanted to just use one of these, we would copy it and bring it down to that same repository download. Okay? Hopefully that was pretty easy. You guys can play with it. Let me know what you like, what you don't like on it. It was just to make life a little bit easier. Now, let's talk about the LLM token estimator. I've brought up different things in this. This, guys, allows you to paste that same type model name in here and get tokenizer counts. So I'm just going to pop open some notes over here so I can paste that path that we saved. So in this case, right, I give you guys an example. We can just grab the Mistral one from Hugging Face, and again, this just relates to the author and the repo name on Hugging Face. And I can paste it in here and say, how many tokens is this chat? All right. Now, if you get this error, and this is exactly what I wanted to show you guys, access to this model is restricted. You must have access to it and be authenticated to access it. Please log in. Okay, so on Hugging Face, if you are accessing some of the private repos that ask you to sign the thing that says that you have access to it, you can get your token from Hugging Face CLI. And then what we're going to want to do is take that token, come back to our compose for the RoboTF LLM, and we're going to want to paste it in right here. So I'm going to do that. You guys don't get my token. No, you don't get my token. Okay. And then I'm just going to do a make all up again so that it restarts and adds that token into RoboTF LLM Tools. And we'll hop right back over to our browser. And we are going to refresh this page by hitting R. And we're going to do the count tokens again, and it should work just fine. All right, you can see that the estimated token count in there was 7. There you guys go. This just helps out because every model has a different tokenizer, so tokens are different for every model. This just helps you do it on open source models and makes your life a lot easier. Now, let's go over and talk about the model config editor. You guys have seen me use this tool actually on other videos when I'm changing context sizes on the fly and restarting LocalAI. This is how I'm doing it. It just makes my life a little bit easier rather than having to edit the files through VS Code or right on the server or anything like that. So because we mounted our same models directory to this container that LocalAI uses, we can access all the model configuration files. So when you download from LocalAI, like we downloaded this one over here, it actually auto-creates one of these YAML files for you. That Gemma that we installed through there, we should be able to actually see it in here, that Gemma 3.1b. Now I'm going to select it, and over here I give you guys a whole list of common configuration changes that I do and a lot of other people do for model configurations. Look, here is a whole table of context size and what you should set that value at. The GPU layers, that's how many layers you want to offload to your GPU. Every model has anywhere from 20 to 100 different layers in it. So this is how you would split in between GPU and CPU if you can't fit everything onto one card or 2 cards or however many cards you have. Your main GPU, if you're running multiple GPUs, this is going to tell Llama.cpp and stuff under the hood, what is your main GPU that you should be using for splitting this across multiple GPUs? Tensor splitting. This is how you control splitting those layers in between all of those different GPUs. No KV offloading. So if you're light on VRAM on your GPU, you can disable offloading the KV cache, and that will keep it in memory and use your CPU. That's going to slow down your inference a little bit, but it's going to save you VRAM. Flash attention, I've done other videos on this. This is going to reduce the attention matrix memory overhead. So this is basically going to lower the amount of VRAM needed. And in some cases, it's going to help speed up the model. So F16, use 16-bit floating provision. This is basically saying turn on my GPU and use my GPU. NUMA, Nmap, and mmlock are something I don't use very often, but you can set those up in here. Any other configuration, please go see the LocalAI advanced site, and there's a link right there of how to work and all the values needed to work with these different model configuration files. These model configuration files are used by LocalAI to go ahead and configure the model that you're about to run. That's how important they are. If you guys have questions, let me know. So to take a look, this is just the base configuration. Oops, let's go back. Sorry. This is just the base configuration that LocalAI chose to install with that model that we downloaded through LocalAI. Okay, that one other model that we went and downloaded through Hugging Face, it automatically downloaded the model for us. And in certain cases, LocalAI can actually auto-detect a base configuration from just the model itself where it doesn't need a configuration file. However, I like full control over my model, so we are going to want to go and create a new model configuration for that file that we downloaded. Easy as that. What we're actually going to do is we're going to do a new file name, and in this case I'm going to call it Llama.34b, because that's the one that we actually downloaded using our Hugging Face downloader here. -it dash, which one did I download? Q6. And I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to say create new YAML file. So now that created a new templated out file for us to go use, and there it is, right? So we're just going to select it, and you can see that it gave us a base templated out file that you can change to your heart's content. Now, the two biggest things in here that we need to change, though, is going to be the name. Now, this is what the name shows up in LocalAI. When you're looking at models, or if even better, if you're going to the chat and you're selecting a model, this is that name that we're talking about, right? So if we come back here and we just say Llama.34b Q6, I'm just giving you guys an example, that's what it's going to show up as in LocalAI, or if you're doing your model listings through the API. Now remember, when we downloaded it, I had you guys copy that model's path out of there. Now under parameters, model file location and name. All right, that's easy, right? So that's exactly where we're going to paste in that big long thing that says exactly where that gguf file downloaded to. Now you could either adjust some of these other settings, or you could just leave it at the base context size of 16K. The GPU layer 60 is just an average number that it would take to offload some of these. You can look at the logs and see how many layers the model says as it's loading up, and you can adjust from there based on the memory requirements that you have. Now, what you want to do is pay attention, hit the run button in the editor to save to the server. So you can hit Command Enter, but if you scroll down, not this little save icon, but this run icon, because we're running it on the remote server and it'll save it. So now that this has been saved, if we go back to LocalAI and we go reload the models, or excuse me, if we go home to see our installed models, you'll see that some weird stuff shows up and it doesn't show up quite right. That's because LocalAI loads these models when it starts up. Ha! So didn't I give you guys a tool to go do that? Yes, I did. In fact, I gave you 2 ways. Now we can come to the Docker command runner and just hit restart LocalAI, or we can go to the Docker dashboard and hit restart LocalAI right here, which I'm going to do. So LocalAI is restarted. It's going to take a second or two to start back up, and then we should be able to go back over here, reload our page. Once it comes back up, you can always say view LocalAI logs. And you can see it's doing some model checking. And then you can see it's loading up there and saying it should be back up. So let's go back and look at there, Gemma 3 4B Q6. So this is now using that model configuration that we set up. And we can just say, hi, can you write me a poem about AI engineers? And poof, there we go. So we quickly went over this new little bit of set of tools for you guys. We quickly went over how to edit models and how to do this. Remember, you could do this all directly on your server. You could do this all through VS Code you want and like go edit your model config files right here or wherever you have it mounted up on your system. This is just another easy way, again, for you guys to manage these things through your browser and be able to access everything. I hope this helps out. I hope it's expandable. I've got some more ideas. Maybe you guys will be able to run the same reports and tests that I do in the future, right? I'll keep going on this. Remember, the code is imperfect. Do me a favor, if you like it, go give me a star on GitHub. Like and subscribe below if you want to see more. We've got more coming up in this series too. Don't worry, this is not done. I think the next thing that we're going to get into is monitoring and observability. So you guys see me with Grafana and Prometheus. So we should just build that in and let you guys have that full ability too. Why not, right? We all love pretty graphs. Until next time, guys, see you later. Oh, hey, I almost forgot. Don't forget to buy your AI pizza.